And now, the SleepHawk Worldwide Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brandon Staton and Tyler Hansbrough.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the SleepHawk Worldwide Podcast. This is Sleep Dawg with the Big Hawk. Buongiorno.
What's up, everybody? It's the Big Hawk. Hey, Sleep is back. I'm excited. We got a great podcast, a lot happening right now. So, Sleep, I'm glad you're back, man. I was flying solo, didn't feel right without you. So, it's good to be here with you.
That makes two of us. I was flying for a long time with about 200 other people on Monday. Ton of stuff going on. I mean, just absolutely lots of sports to talk about. So luckily I went on a trip to Italy that brought me back rich with content. We got some big news in the works here at SHWW. Ain't quite ironed out yet, but we're about to get into some card talk here at some point. Big Hawk, just degenerate already. He's in it. NBA free agency is alight with rumors. Crazy shit going down. I mean, Chris Paul going to the Warriors. We're going to talk about that. Like, for those of you that don't follow the NBA, Chris Paul going to the Warriors is about like, I don't know. It's that was out of nowhere. He does not have a good relationship with those guys, or hasn't in the past. And so I want to ask Big Hawk what it's like to have, somebody that everybody's talk shit about all of a sudden on the team, because that's an interesting dynamic. We got some Tar Heels in free agency that'll make that conversation interesting. Most notably Cam Johnson and Harrison Barnes. Leaky Black signed a 10-day with the Hornets, I believe. We've had the NBA draft that we haven't talked that much about. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to double down on telling you that Wemby's a bust. And then we're going to open cards on the pod. And you guys are going to get – I'm going to answer all the questions because, we've been answering some offline with Big Hawk. We got producer Pa back there on the ones and twos. He's got cards. These guys are addicted already. They just decided they're going to do it last night, and now they just can't stop opening packs of cards. So anyway, we're going to freestyle this one, guys, because when we said there's a lot of sports to talk about, we were lying, because there ain't shit going on except free agency, and I know none of you guys are super into that. But where do you want to start, Big Hawk? Hey, if you had an opportunity, could you ever see yourself in any situation getting on a submarine to go on a tour of the Titanic? Take everything you know out of consideration. Could you literally see that? Like, what would it take for them people to have told you, hey, man, you want to get on a submarine and go down to Titanic?
Listen, I have all the sympathy for the families.
Absolutely.
And, I want to respect them, but also I want to give an honest opinion. And I thought this idea was the dumbest thing that I've ever heard of. And I think that it gets dumber every time I talk about it. And the reason I like to talk about it is because I cannot imagine how anybody ever thought this was a good idea. And then to look more into it, when you look into the detail, you look at the cheap controller. Sleep, I'm not even, I don't know much about PlayStations or the controllers, but I'll be damned if I'm about to get into a tin cup and then sink to the bottom of the ocean and try to maneuver it with something that runs an Xbox, or it looks like it would have been a Nintendo back in the day. It is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Sleep. I have a lot of questions. One of the first things was, I was like, what if somebody farts on the in the submarine? How long would they have to smell?
Yeah.
How do you get that out of the system? And are they going to have to endure that for the whole trip? And then I realized that they didn't have a flushable toilet, which makes sense. And they were just going in some plastic containers, which in my thought, I was like, well, I'm glad they went early, because, I wouldn't want to endure a fart for a couple of days. And, I just think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Sleep.
These are pressing questions, man. I never actually thought about that. And the thing I thought was interesting about the controller is, like, it didn't even look like a real Xbox controller. It looked like the one that your grandma buys for you that's off-brand, that you're like, you got to act like you like, but that thing's all janky. Uh-huh. I mean, at least if they had bought a Nintendo controller, like, everybody knows how to use that thing. Like, and dude, as many of those things as you threw against the wall as a kid, like, it's durable and all these things. Yeah, I'm with you. There are nothing but questions. It is a sad story, right? Obviously it's a tragedy, right? And it captivated all the attention. But yeah, you got to ask yourself, like, I mean, there was a lot of people that have come out. Hindsight's 2020 when the thing just implodes. But there's a lot of people that were like, yeah, they asked me to go, and I was like, ain't no way. Or, hey, I thought this was a bad idea from the jump. I mean, I would need to know, right? Like, dude, flights, how many flights happen every single day? Like thousands of flights happen every. My father-in-law is a very accomplished pilot. And, dude, I still don't just go skipping and whistling into the row whatever of a jumbo jet to fly wherever I'm going to fly. Like, I still, like, makes me uneasy. So if I had the option to, like, not have to do something that is demonstrably proven to be safe, versus, you know, something that's, I won't get on a roller coaster, dude. But a SleepDawg ain't doing roller coasters. I had an opportunity while I was away to do like a helicopter tour. Nope, ain't doing that. Ain't doing, the water slides. Like, I like the lazy ones, right? That cruise, but you want to do the down and loop. I didn't do the water slide on a cruise. The cruise ship freaked me out, dude. I mean, you know, so guys, I like bungee jumping. You fucking kidding me? Skydiving? No. All right,
sir.
Listen, there's plenty of thrills to be seen on TV. We're about to enjoy some thrills ourselves as we open packs of basketball cards. Hearts go out to the families of these people, but damn, dude. I mean, come on.
And they couldn't even see the Titanic. They had to look through a monitor.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have just sent a robot down there and just put a little, camera on it, took some pictures and called it a day and went on with life. But sleep.
Only thing that might have been more sus about the whole thing is everything did have a window, you know? I mean.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
I don't think so. Yeah, I hope so. But, yeah, I mean, guys, just watch the movie. I mean, we know how this shit ends.
And, you know, the other thing is you can't open it from the inside. You have to get somebody to unvolt you from the outside, which,
even better. It's an emergency, you know. You need somebody to free dive down there and come. Yeah, dude, it's terrifying to me. I mean, hopefully these people and it was over. I mean,
I think that's what happened. That's what happened. Well, they went quickly, which I'm glad they did.
No, that's what they're going to tell everybody.
Yeah, that's a great point. But, you know, I hope they don't do any more of these missions.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I hope if they do, they should get like a robot or something to go in these submarines.
They already have that. Yeah, Titanic's very clearly haunted at this point. Like, you don't need to tell me again.
Yeah, I'm not messing with it.
So, anyway, well, didn't have to take one of those to Italy, but old SleepDawg's been in Italia for what feels like 2 months. I think it was like a total of 12 days. A lot of gelato. A lot of pizza, a lot of pasta, a lot of people. It was an interesting trip. We can get into that at some point. What do you think? Free agency? Should we go there first?
I want to talk the trip first.
Okay, let's talk the trip first.
If that's cool. First of all, how long was the flight? Where'd you fly into in Italy?
Yeah.
Was it just a direct, or did you go into Rome, then take a train or Florence or whatever?
So speaking of not liking to fly, is a fly up to JFK, and then JFK to Rome was the flight out, about 8 hours. All right. Mm-hmm. And you're someone who can sympathize with long flights, having played some time in China. I could only imagine. Look, man, for those of you listening, once it gets over about 3 hours, that's like the farthest trip I really want to make. I used to when I was younger. Like, you fly a lot and you sort of get used to it. But before, I really wanted to. Like, a lot of people love direct flights on like long flights. I used to say, you know, if I was going to fly to LAX, give me that one that stops halfway there. Like, let me get off the plane. Let me like let me just feel the ground again, just to make sure, you know, I'm, you know, just okay with it, and then get back up and go again. Now it's a lot different. You know, I'd rather have a direct flight too. But 8 hours across the pond, man, and we take off out of JFK, and we are like marbles in a shoebox for the first, I don't know, hour. Look, and Mary, my wife, man, you know, her dad's the pilot, and she's usually pretty stoic during these things. And she was even nervous. I mean, we were bouncing out there. And of course, when you're on a transatlantic flight, I mean, you probably look down over the Titanic at some point. And you kind of realize, dude, something goes wrong. You're going night-night. You ain't waking up. and ain't nobody gonna find you. So you sort of got these thoughts. Anyway, cruise in, flying to Rome. But when you hit the ground, dude, you're like, ha, that wasn't so bad. We made it, you know? It was a long-ass flight. I was in coach. And, dude, I cannot sleep on planes at all, ever.
I'm right there with you.
And I'm trying, dude. My neck's all hurt. I downloaded 88 episodes of Better Call Saul. I don't watch the whole season or the whole series. And when we land in Rome, then you're tired, right? Because it's like you're ahead 6 hours. But yeah, we started off in Rome the first night, and we spent, I think, a day or two there. Rome's cool, man. I'd never been. Just all like, you see the Colosseum, you see all this crazy. It was a Sistine Chapel, and yeah, Rome was awesome. It was really, really just kind of incredible to see. Then we went to Tuscany, Florence. Beautiful. Rolling hills, just like nothing but rolling hills. Followed by more rolling hills, and I guess there's wine out there. So that was cool. And then we went to Lake Como after that. Stayed in Verona. Saw George Clooney's house. Como was overrated, I felt like. You know what I mean? It's beautiful, and it was really, really, like, when you get there, you're just like, wow, this is incredible. It's basically like you're surrounded by the Alps, and there's a lake in the middle of it. But you can't swim in the lake, which is weird. But it was beautiful. It was cool. Like, but it's like there's a bunch of little towns around there, and they're all just kind of the same. And but enjoyed it, very much enjoyed it.
Why can't you swim in the lake? Is it because it's prohibited, or is it because it's infected with a bunch of stuff?
It's not infected, to my knowledge, with anything. It's very deep. But I don't know. I don't know why you can't swim in the lake.
Because, you know, the way we're built,
it's prohibited.
Yeah, and the one thing that would be on my mind, does it have the flesh-eating bacteria?
It looks like a place where you'd actually find the Loch Ness Monster. Like, that's what it looks like. It looks like at night, if you were to swim out there at night, that a dinosaur lives in there. I mean, it's where they filmed part of Star Wars. They filmed, I think, like Ocean's 8 there. They filmed a scene from James Bond there. Bellagio is an island there, so it sounds fancy. Went there, is fancy. And then after that, we went to Milan, and Milan is like basically New York City of Italy. I mean, that place is a madhouse. Walked and ran total, I think, 95 miles, 10, 12 days. I mean, dude, you're walking 8-10 miles a day. Water there, always room temperature. And room temperature in Italy is about 85 degrees because they don't have air conditioning. They don't believe in air conditioning. Like, they literally, certain places are like, hey, come inside. We have air conditioning. It's like a asset, like a selling point. The roads, dude. I don't know how many people saw my reel I was over
just
there.
Just you and a bunch of Americans in that air conditioning.
Oh yeah, huddled together. Trying to share like reptiles, trying to bring our damn blood temperature down.
It's the same thing in China. I think I'm not sure, but I don't know if the U.S. is the only country that really drinks cold water.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
Because in China they drink hot water, and my buddy who lived with me in China, my best friend from my hometown, he drinks hot water now. It's the damnedest thing. And he moved back, and I'm just like, okay.
You can't go in the store. I mean, it's 98 degrees outside. It's hot as hell, okay? You can't go in the store and buy anything cold. Maybe ice, maybe gelato, right? You cannot buy cold water. You cannot buy a Coke. You cannot buy a beer. Like, none of it. And, like, having something cold to drink is a commodity in that country. I really think that there is a business opportunity for an American to go over there and start selling ice water to Italians. And I mean, you'd probably be the richest man in the world. So, you know, food was the interesting thing about the food was the good meals we had were incredible. Like, best meals I've ever had. but there was no in between. Like there was a lot of food that was not good. It was like bad. Like I'm thinking like, oh, Italy, like I'll get some salads and they'll be like nice with, cause you're just eating pasta all the time. It's like salads here even, no, like it was either 5-star or 1-star, maybe 2 stars occasionally. Gelato, dude, there are gelatos out there like gas stations. I mean, there's more gelato than Starbucks. I mean, you could get gelato whenever, wherever you wanted. Nothing opens till like 10 o'clock. People are just like, yeah, no, we'll be there later. Then they close at like 1 to 2 for nap time or something. We would do dinner reservations like 7 o'clock, and that's like 5 o'clock here. You show up at 7 and like nobody's even there yet. About 9 o'clock, people start piling in. Coffee's a weird situation there. You're only getting like a little tiny espresso shot. Everybody knows just by looking at you if you're American or not. You walk in the door, and I mean, like, you haven't done shit, and they just here's the American menu or English menu. But
did you order Americano?
Oh yeah, a lot of those.
Hey, honest question. I'm a big coffee guy, and you're a big coffee guy. And when I think of Italy, by the way, Italy's the only place I've been to in Europe. I've been to Italy too. And I didn't drink coffee when I went to Italy at the time. What do you think of the coffee situation? I would think that Italy has amazing espresso.
Now, we went to a place in general, it's good. And it's like I do actually like the culture of drinking espressos because it's light and like you don't have to, it's sort of like in America, we fuck it up and want 5-hour energies instead, right? If you could just hit an espresso, it's the same thing, right? We went to a place in Milan that had the best coffee I've ever had. And I say that, I hesitate to say that because my boys down the street, I go to Sleep Dawg goes to the same coffee shop every single day. Pine State Coffee, free shout out. I mean, you're in Raleigh, that's the spot. They got the best coffee in town. But this place is called like Onacero or something, and it's in Milan. And every morning you go there is like line out the door. Everything there is small. Everything everywhere, I mean. Like you go into this coffee shop, and I literally thought about you a lot, Big Hawk. Like you would not like it in a lot of places because, dude, it is the inside of that submarine everywhere you go. We go in a coffee shop and you're shoulder to shoulder with people, and they don't give a shit about personal space. Like I would like literally one time I'm sitting down, and a lady comes and she sits right so close to me that she's touching me, like full body side to side is touching me. And I look and there's like plenty of places to sit down. But like people just don't care about space there. When you walk down the sidewalk, they will walk right through you. And it's funny because everybody there was nice as shit. Everybody was nice. Unless you were driving or unless you're on the sidewalk. Then it was like they were in such a hurry, they didn't give a shit, they didn't move. And then like to go where? And they didn't do anything. It takes them 2 hours to eat. Drink coffee. There's a lot of interesting stuff about the culture, but the people were in general, by and large, were super nice. It was a stressful situation on those sidewalks though, man. Holy shit, because they're about yay wide. You got to kind of like walk diagonal down them anyway to stay on, because the cars just whizzing by, Fiat mirrors, you dodging, bicycles and mopeds and shit. And it's like all the roads, you can walk in them, ride in them, drive in them. It just didn't matter. It's like an alley, and there's like tables out there for restaurants, and there's no curb. It's like, guys, like, can you widen this thing out a little bit or keep some cars off of here? So it was just interesting. But the thing of it was, I never saw one person get hit, never saw anybody, any kind of accidents. Never saw, the cars there were all pieces of shit, but they weren't banged up. They were just like not nice. And so it was wild. It's like, I figured out, I was like, man, this country is just epitomizes this, hey, we'll figure it out. Cause, it all works for them.
So
stressful though.
So I really liked Tuscany, Florence, and Rome. Those are my two favorite cities. I did go to the Amalfi Coast, southern Italy, and I thought it was beautiful. I had amazing food in Italy, some of the best meals I've ever had. The Italian food, pasta and everything was off the charts. But there was so many people on mopeds and these small motorcycles everywhere we went. And in Rome, I was staying kind of not really near the Coliseum, but maybe a mile or two. And I was staying in this hotel, and the roads were brick.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if they're still brick.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a
been brick for about 3,000 years.
I can only imagine, and historical. And so this trash, or this this truck was coming by picking up the trash.
Yeah.
Well, it was leaking, and it must have had some oil that was leaking. And me and the girl I was dating at the time, we sat there and we watched 15 to 20 people fall on those motorcycles. Everyone was okay. Everyone lived. But everyone, like, you saw 30 people like waving there, no. And
ain't nobody listening.
And finally I was just like, get me some wine. And did you have a lot of wine there? Red
wine?
A
lot. And I tell you, the best part about it is like, you don't need to know shit about it. Just ask for a house wine. It's all good.
And even if it is like people, I don't have a sophisticated enough palate to be like, hey, no, you know what? I need the silver oak. I'm like, just give me something good, man. Pinot, Cab, whatever. Just pour it. And whenever my snobby friends do bring some fancy wine, I always hit them with the Kansas City Shuffle. Whenever they get up to go to the bathroom, I tell the waiter, hey, the cheapest red wine, pour it right here. And then I take the glass and drink their good wine. They never even notice. So the whole I'm not really sold on these palates unless you work for the wine industry. But I actually enjoyed Italy. I'll probably have to go back because I'm much more mature at this stage in my life and probably enjoy a little more of the historical sites.
Dude, I was blown away. They have like KFCs everywhere in Italy. Like there's
not in China too.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Burger King. Like obviously there's McDonald's. I saw I think one Burger King. Didn't see any other. There's no Starbucks there, which I thought was, interesting, right? Like
so Starbucks is my go-to in China. Like, okay, because I know when I walk into a Starbucks, I know they're going to have something that I'm familiar with, and I can get like at least a meal and somewhat feel satisfied about it.
Yeah, it was wild to me that KFC was the one thing they landed on. I was like their version of American food. Yeah, we had a couple restaurants that were extraordinary. But yeah. It was, you get pizza anywhere. Pizzerias and gelaterias. Dude, I had gelato every single day. And it was awesome. But yeah, by and large, man, Italy's a cool country. I think if I went back, I'd want to check out the coast. Like, we were in the northern part. I really, really liked the country. I've been to France now. I've been to Copenhagen, Denmark, Sweden. And I really enjoyed, I think, Italy the most. Paris is cool too, but it's like there's a lot of people, and it's pretty intense. And I found Italy, especially Rome and Milan, to be like walkable, and it's the architecture and everything there. It's nice. It really don't mind walking like miles and miles and miles, because literally every single building you're like, holy shit, man. Like, they don't make shit like this in the U.S. Yeah. And so it was cool. There wasn't really not a lot of nightlife there. I was surprised. Now, Milan, I don't know. We were pretty gassed by the time we got there. But, not a ton going on. Didn't get my pocket picked. Rome. All right. By the way, you go to the Coliseum. Holy shit, man. The hardest thing to do in Italy is find a legitimate ticket to go inside the Coliseum.
They people got outside. Oh, yeah. You take the VIP tour for about $50, skip the line, walk right in.
Yeah, exactly. I asked the guy, I said, hey, man, you work here? And he said, yes, I speak 7 languages. And he like pats himself down and looks at his outfit. And I'm like, damn, this motherfucker don't look very official. But he said he works here, and finally, he said something, and I was like, they're all full of shit. And I don't know.
100%.
I walked up to the ticket as if I had a ticket. And I asked the guy, I said, man, is there anywhere to buy a legitimate ticket here? And he laughed, and he was like, yeah, and he told me the deal. We did not get to go inside of the Coliseum because the only way to buy a ticket was to get that little line skipping deal. There's some hustlers out there in Rome, dude.
Hustlers.
I'm telling you.
I guarantee anybody that's never been to Rome and goes to the Coliseum, you are going to get got.
Oh yeah,
they're going to get you.
Mm-hmm.
I know it, and listen, I know they're going to get you. So don't feel bad about it. I remember I got, and the girl I was with dated, and so we get into the Coliseum, and this guy starts rambling and gives us all these facts. He could have told me whatever he wanted, and I would have believed it. I thought he was an official tour. And then he just stopped and said, yeah, so this is a Coliseum. Just look around and have a good time. And someone in our group goes, that's it? That's it. You got us. And then I realized, like, yo, this dude just got me too. And
$50, dude. Skip that line, man.
But it was really cool to see that.
Did you? So you went inside, and we didn't get inside the Coliseum. Is it worth it?
Yeah, I do. I really liked it. I saw David too, and I waited. I saw the Sistine Chapel when I came back. I told Sleep this last night. I thought it was the 16th chapel for a couple months after I left Italy. Then somebody corrected me. And my last story about my time I went to Italy is I went out and I got the limoncellos got me one night. I had too many limoncellos. And so I start talking to the guy in the restaurant. He tells me, oh, this is the finest wine. I was like, well, can you ship it? And he's like, oh, yeah, I ship to the States. I was like, okay, 2 boxes, done deal, whap. And so during the process, the U.S. Customs calls me, and they said, did you order all this wine? I said, absolutely. And they said, you've exceeded the amount that you can bring back shipping wise. I said, well, pour it out. You can have whatever doesn't make it in. Yeah, whatever the excess is, pour it out, take it, enjoy it. But I would prefer you not to waste it. And he said, well, I got to do what I got to do. So anyways, the wine gets here, and I have all my buddies, and I'm like, I got this really nice Italian wine. And Coach Holiday, who I'm really close with, he likes a nice glass of wine, so I invite him. He's having some people over his house, and I bring about 3 bottles, and I tell him, Coach, let's do this with some of our friends. This is really good, expensive wine. And so he takes his phone out and he scans it with this thing that tells you how much these bottles are if you hit the tag. He said, Tyler, these are $7.50 bottles of wine. And I was like, no way. And I was like, they got my ass, Coach.
Dude, I'm terrified now because we went to a wine tasting and they reeled us in, man. They started out with the cheap shit, and by the end, we're drinking stuff that's €400 a bottle or whatever. And so literally you got a text message yesterday, our shipment's on the way. Corbucci is what it's called. Dude was bald and had tattoos and told us this story, and God knows whether this shit was good or not. It was good at the time because it gets y'all liquored up with the cheap shit. And before I knew it, we ordered 6 or 9 bottles of wine. It's like $1,000 to ship it home. And God, I'm terrified. And I also heard that you're not supposed to ship wine from that region until the fall because of the weather. And like you get held up in customs, and if it stays in the heat, it's not good for it. So I just assumed that we'd be hearing from them in like October, because I left half in the bag on an e-bike, right? Like I didn't really ask many questions. And then the day I land, I get an email that says, hey, your wine's shipped out. I'm like, it's fucking 88 degrees outside. Like I don't think we're supposed to ship this shit. So God knows, dude, it'll probably show up in a pillowcase or some shit, but whatever, man. They got me, and we had a good time. It was definitely one for the record books. Coming back, that I'll end on this. Yesterday, so we fly now. You asked about the flight. We fly 9 hours home because you're into the headwind, right? Perfectly smooth flight. Had an exit road too, so it was like cheat code. We get to JFK. And it's just gridlock. I guess they had some systems problem. There was some weather in the area. They had canceled every single flight. We landed like 2. They canceled every single flight to RDU. Every single one of them for the rest of the day. So to go get rebooked, we stand in line for 3 hours and move about 50 feet. Never even sniff the counter. And then the attendants start telling us like, hey, you ain't getting a flight till maybe Friday. And it's Monday. And I'm like, bro, how is this possible? Long story short, we take a 2-hour 10-mile Uber ride, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, from JFK to Penn Station, right across the street from Madison Square Garden, downtown New York. We get and there's some wild shit going on the train in New York City, okay? We take a 3-hour train ride to Union Station in D.C., get off, take another Uber to Reagan Airport, which is the closest place I could find to rent a car, because all the rental cars are gone, all the hotels are gone. Now, of course, maybe you could have gotten farther away from JFK, I don't know, but like, I'm trying to get home. We drive 4.5 hours from Reagan to Raleigh night before last, in an absolute monsoon. Like, I thought livestock was going to blow across 95. I mean, for 45 minutes, I'm like, got my forearms just like, and guys, I've been awake for 24 hours solid at this point. And I'm like trying to stay awake. Mary just gets she's in the passenger seat, just out, bro. I'm flying solo through the damn hurricane, right? Like, and I got I'm just propped on a steering wheel, just trying to stay awake, going 40 miles an hour down 95. Because it is raining so hard that, like, between being tired, it rained. I was like, I can't even see the lines in the road. I'm just gonna. And then the lightning. The lightning was actually helpful. It was so bad that, like, I was like, all right, now I got a little guide till it lightnings again, and I can see where I'm going. We got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. So when you add the 6 hours that we lost, we left at 4 o'clock in Italy. We got home at 3 o'clock in the U.S. That's 23 hours, then you add 6 to it, that's 29 hours that it felt like we were moving. And so the reason we're recording this on Wednesday is because old Sleep Dawg didn't get much sleep and had to get some yesterday. So it was an ordeal, dude. But Italy was I recommend it, man. It's like, I wish it was closer, I wish there was a faster way to get there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I'm glad to be home.
I'm glad you're back, too.
And you know what? Here's the last thing I'll say, dude. America pizza is fucking so much better than Italian pizza. It's not even close. Not even close. I mean, you cannot. I didn't have a slice of pizza over that place that was even remotely close to anywhere I've had here.
You know what's wrong with the pizza over there? And a lot of other places, they try to make it fancy.
Yeah.
I tell you, there's nothing wrong with the Domino's pizza.
Absolutely, dude.
The Black Box is amazing. Deep dish. Pizza Hut has great.
Thin crust.
They have the stuffed crust too. Man, it's good stuff.
Hot and ready. I never found a Little Caesars over there. I was looking for that in Rome, but I guess I didn't get the memo.
Papa John's is in China.
Huh.
Anytime I see a Papa John's, I go directly in there. Get it.
Well, anyway, you guys need some recommendations. Get them while they're hot, because I'll forget all those things by the end of the podcast probably. So, shoot me a note. I'll tell you, anybody wants to know these places we went to, if anybody's planning any travel there. Yeah, I do have some very, very good recommendations from the place. But, dude, so while I was away, we got a little, like I said, we're going to really get into it right now. But we got some fun news coming up. And if you're a true fan of the pod, that news involves a former in-person SleepHawk Worldwide live recording partner that we're excited about partnering with further. But segue to the Big Hawk and producer Pod back there. These guys, while I was away, got addicted to trading cards. Okay, guys, this is going to bleed into the NBA draft and the NBA free agency. But last night, these guys they started asking me all these questions, seemingly out of nowhere, about basketball cards, which is something that Sleep Dawg is very into. So I explained to them, like, yeah, you can go buy them from Target. And I kind of absently say this. And the next thing I know, these guys are sending me pictures. They're ripping packs of NBA hoops off the shelves at Target. And I was like, guys, I thought they said, hey, we're going to go get some so we can open them on the podcast. What should we get? So I tell them, and the next thing I know, they're sending me all these cards. I'm like, well, guys, did you save any to open on the thing? And they said, no, I opened them all. And I'm like, well, you're officially addicted to it. So, guys, I'm happy to have you on board. This shit's fun. You're going to learn some lessons the hard way. I can promise you that. But, yeah, like, Big Hawk, tell me what you got. Pablo, you got to get in here, too.
All right.
Pablo's in. You guys been ripping in Target packs. Like, I mean, guys, and first of all, like, so here's the situation, right? over COVID, there was like, first of all, everybody just had, the government's just handing out money, right? So all of a sudden people are like, holy shit, man, I remember when I was a kid, like cards were fun. And all of a sudden they just had this meteoric boom. If you've watched the King of Collectibles thing on Netflix, it really does a disservice. Golden Auctions is a huge auction house, very reputable. Not saying anything about it. Just didn't really tell the true story of like trading cards very well. If you watch ESPN or like, you know, log on, like yesterday they had this article about breaking cards, which is like a really sort of new-ish kind of thing recently. And the card boom happened in 2020. I mean, dude, cards are selling for just like prices that are unbelievably ridiculous. They've come back to earth, but they're still higher than they've ever been. And the market is really hot, and there's all this stuff going on with it. And it's really fun if you're like especially if you're a middle-aged dude that remembers cards from when you were a kid. Like, it's kind of fun to like now be able to afford to buy them and rip them and, you know, get shit. And there is a contingency of people that are like, yo, this is a piece of cardboard. Like, why is it so much money? I'm like, I don't know, man, but like all Picasso is a piece of, you know, rawhide. Why is that shit worth so much money? I don't know. So it's just human behavior. So, you know, these guys are just hook, line, and sinker. And what do you got now? Probably got some Prism, and Big Hawk went back after he ripped them all. These guys go back to Target and buy some more. I mean, so they're all in. Tyler, true to form, bought the cheapest shit that they could find, which was NBA hoops.
Yeah, and listen, I want you guys to be able to get the value. And so I'm not going after I'm trying to find the diamond in the rough.
I'm just trying to find the diamonds, baby. So I got the Hobby Box 2022-23 Select. Just came out today. Oak City sports cards. If you guys want it, go get it before they're gone, because if Sleep Dawg gets done, ain't nothing come out of this box. I might go get the rest of them. Pablo, you got Prism, right?
Yep.
So Prism is like the new sort of upper deck, if you remember, kid. You know, like they got the license, and that's what everybody chases here. And basically, the fun part for me has been answering the worst questions I've ever heard about sports cards from these two guys for the last, 24 hours. So we figured what we would do, guys, is, we just rip some packs live. I mean, that's the thing, in the spirit of just doing things that don't make sense on SHWW. This is one of them. So I'm just going to sit here and chill. And you guys, when you hit something, you let me know.
So there's something about opening up a package that's just incredible, right? This is why people are addicted to Amazon, just opening up packages.
Guys, this is a true story. This is an absolute true story, all right? I swear to God, I just opened a box. I just opened the first pack.
Yeah.
All right? I cannot make this shit up, all right? This, you might be able to see, is a gold. See how it's gold?
Yeah.
It's massive. That's the biggest card that's in the entire case. I swear to God.
See it now.
I swear to God.
Tell us more about
I cannot make this up, okay, guys? I just opened the box. Just opened it. There are 12 packs in a box. Okay. Here's the other 11 of them right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I opened the first pack. All right. There's a gold. So what happens in gold cards? Like, there's a lot of serial numbers and all this sort of stuff. Golds are numbered to 10. All right. If this card is Paolo Banchero, which is the top rookie, hence he's on the cover, much to our chagrin. Got to be honest, though, dude's a baller. He's a Jordan athlete now, so some sins are forgiven. If this is a Paolo Banchero gold rookie card, this shit's probably $5,000. Like, true story. So, first card, Chris Middleton. All right. Like, my blood is pumping right now, guys. It's literally like second year Jalen Green. I mean, this shit doesn't have. Oh, no. There's a Paolo Banchero rookie in front of it. It's a subset rookie. Let's see what this gold one is.
What
the
is
way you do it. So
rookie?
It's just like a little. All right, hang on, man. I got to concentrate. Guys, this is insane. It is a rookie card.
Okay.
That is a big deal. If it's a good rookie card, and this is a true gold prism from Select, it's a sideways one.
What does that mean?
Nah, somebody from the Grizzlies, so it can't be that good.
John Morant.
Oh, God. Kennedy Chandler, guys. So I told you you're going to learn some tough lessons, okay? This card is literally like, this is what you come for. Like, serial number, 2 out of 10. All right? This is the best card in the box, maybe in the entire case. And who the fuck is Kennedy Chandler? Dude, what a disappointment. This really, honestly, man, if this was the right card, it would have put SleepHawk Worldwide on the map. Like, people would have been like, no way this dude opened the first pass. Swear. And it's Kennedy Chandler.
Who is Kennedy Chandler?
I have
Who's
no
he played
idea.
for?
He is a...
Apparently the King.
This says on the back of the card, with John Morant taking a day off, Chandler got some extended action against the Hawks on December 12th, 2022. The rookie did his best Morant impression on a second quarter drive, dribbling past the defender and rising high for a monster dunk that sent the crowd into a frenzy. What a heck of a play from KC, Coach Taylor Jenkins said. Wow.
So how much is that worth?
Let's find out.
So
I'm going to eBay right now.
So what do you where do you look? So if you get a pack of cards, where's a good place you can go to see the value of that card?
Best place, there's a lot of different answers to that question. Best place to go is just eBay and search by auctions that are completed, and you search for the card that you got and then see how much they're selling for.
So there's no website you can go in, you can punch in the card you got, then you can see like what the past sales on that card has been and what the market value is? Yes.
So I'm on that site right now, and it's called 130point.com, 130.point.com. The highest ever card from Kennedy Chandler sold for $400.
So would that put this in that range?
No.
No.
This card's probably, because it's a rookie.
Did Kennedy Chandler buy his own card?
He could. Did you used to buy your own cards?
Well, cards weren't popular back in my day.
Yeah.
You got a few though, right? Sleep.
Gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah. I got a bunch of T-Hands rookies. So yeah, I mean that card's, I would say right now, if I sold it right now, I'd probably get $100 for it. So first rule of collecting, you get the hit, quit, right? But yeah, I don't follow those. I don't follow any rules.
The whole one question. I got a Luka Doncic pure player card from the Panini. Any value?
$5 probably.
Okay.
On the back, does it say the word Prism?
No.
Well.
And then I have a Jaden Ivey, obviously a rookie card, arriving now.
$5.
Any value? $5. Wow. Okie dokie.
How much did you pay for the? How much did you pay for the set of cards? I mean, for the box of cards. $30. All right, so you're down 20. Gosh, that's so disappointing, man. You guys don't understand. Like, my blood pressure is still high from getting that. You don't understand. Like, if that had been anybody relevant, it would have been a huge hit. If it had been Banchero, that card could have potentially been $5,000.
I'm sorry.
Well, I am too.
So for those of us who don't know anything about cards, this is what the bulk of the Prism cards look like, right?
Which are the base set. Yeah, that's what they call that.
But then you got the ones that have these like emergent. This is a So what is this the kind of stuff we're looking for?
So time out. Where'd you get those, Pablo, and how much was it for
it's this Prism box, $30.
This pack's a little thicker. Ooh.
Where'd you buy it from?
Target. Just went this morning.
I couldn't find it, man. I got this BS.
We all went to a different Target. Oh, yeah, that's
one in over at South Square.
All right, so this one, guys, all right, see how this card's a little thicker right in the middle? Hang on.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be a memorabilia card. It's going to have a piece of jersey in it.
Oh, nice.
Johnny Davis Sparks. Who?
Sleep. Where'd you buy your cards, and how much was that set?
So I bought mine from Oak City Sports Cards. Only place to buy them, if you ask me. There's a James Harden white prism, right? Numbered to 149, probably $5 or $10. And I bought Hobby Box. All right, so you guys are buying retail boxes. The problem with retail boxes is you don't ever really get a very slim chance you get anything out of them.
Okay.
Hobby Box, you get all kinds of good stuff, but they're like 10 times the price. So a box of Select is $450. But your odds of hitting something relevant are way higher. You get guaranteed in each box, there are 3 autograph or memorabilia cards. So I just got one of the memorabilia cards. The interesting thing is that autographs aren't always the most popular. Like that gold card, I'm not kidding, is super sought after. And even though it's a nobody, I mean, that card's worth $100, I would guess.
Okay.
I kind of want to do something for the pod. Is every time we find a Tar Heel player,
Yep.
and Sleep, we should have a collection just for the podcast of all the Tar Heels that we come across that have cards. Like I got Dayron Sharp.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
That
great
one's,
card.
and then
All right.
Cole Anthony, and then I got Harrison. So I'm going to put these into a different side, and maybe we can get a collection going. Sleep, I don't want to take from your prestigious collection, but these are just old cheapos.
Here's a Kobe White.
Here's the exact
Let's
opposite.
do it.
AJ Griffin. Ugh.
He'll be a bust.
He is a bust, all right. Now, here's a cool card. It's a Luka Doncic Prism die cut out of 249. Out of 249 means that the card is serial numbered on the back. So there are only 249 of this particular subset made. So there's still an autograph live in my box. So that means that there is, you'll still get an autograph in here somewhere. There's another Johnny Davis. I don't know who, dude, I'm pretty in on the draft class, and I'm striking out on some of these guys. All right, here's another one.
Sleep, I got Jason Tatum Skyview.
Here is
Premier.
a second year.
About $2 maybe. Jalen Green. Yeah. I would hang on to that one.
Auto. Second year Jalen Green autograph. That's a good card. That's probably $100 at least.
What do you mean auto? There's still a draft going on when you open the card, by the way. What's that?
He signed it.
He signed it. Autograph.
Okay. Oh, autograph. I thought you meant like a yeah.
So what about cards of like older players? Do they have any value at all?
Yeah.
Like
it
I
just
got
really depends.
I got a Pete Maravich card. I got a Larry
Claude
Bird, Team
Leonard.
USA card.
Yeah. Here's a Jabari Smith.
KG.
Nice.
Yeah, older cards. It really just depends what they are, right? Like the rush in the 80s and 90s of cards, like they just mass produce so many of them that sometimes those cards' values don't like it. It just really there's really specific cards in there that might be good, and a lot of them that just aren't or valuable, I should say. But
So
it just really depends.
One other thing. So in the back of the card, some of these, this says, for instance, like number 3. What does that mean? This is like a.
Oh, that's the card. That's the number in the set, right? So what does that say?
So this is a global reach.
Yeah. So
Giannis card.
there's probably like 20 cards in there. Like they call that a subset, right?
Okay.
And so, like back in the day, they just made those. It's just like something to make things to keep you from opening the same card over and over again, or seeing the same stuff over and over again. It's just like, they call it a subset. So there's 20 of those cards in the subset.
Got it.
So Sleep, I went to Target and I spent about $20-something bucks.
Uh huh.
I should have just taken that $20 and just flushed it down the toilet.
Well, it would have been a lot more effective if you maybe just lit it on fire.
Yeah, maybe not clog my toilet,
Yeah.
which is almost impossible, I think.
Here's a Miles Turner autograph. Things are going downhill fast. Okay, like
So we should probably go to a card store like Oak City, and would they have a good value? You think for like somebody doesn't want to spend $400 on cards? Could they get like a pack for
absolutely.
about 50 or 100?
Yeah, you could get stuff for a lot cheaper.
Roll the dice, and then maybe they put an expensive card in there.
Yep, 100%. They also do these things called repacks. And basically what that is they take, for example, all the good cards that they get out of packs, and they'll pack them up together, and then just like someone can come in and that way you have a little bit better idea of exactly what your odds are to get something good. And they'll do that a lot for kids. What in the hell? That's weird. They do that a lot for kids so that like I said, to improve the odds a little bit, to make sure that, people aren't just totally flushing money down the drain. But you can also buy singles there. So like you want to go buy a rookie card of somebody. Like I said, like we talked about how much these cards are worth, right? Like they have a value that is essentially set by the market. So people, can come in, and if you want to buy a Paolo Banchero rookie card, you just pay whatever they're asking for it. And, there's card shows. So, one of the biggest ones coming up is in Chicago. There's a national card show coming up in a couple months. I'm going to be going to that one. I know those guys will be there too.
What's the date on that?
It is July 26th, I think, is when it starts. It happens right after our
Jimmy Seafood Golf
Tournament, yeah. So I'm going to fly out of there and probably go up to that thing, take some cards. A lot of people still trade them. I mean, a bunch of 30 and 40-year-old men trading basketball cards. I mean, what's not normal about that,
Hey, so Sleep, let's say I go out there and I'm just hunting these cheap cards down, and I come across like one that's like $20K.
Yep.
Where in the hell do I sell it? And how do I like keep the integrity of the card so I'm not just like carrying it around in my pocket?
Well, first of all, you put it in a holder, and valuable cards are generally in holders. And then there's also the grading thing, right? So you can send the card off, have it assigned a grade, a mint grade or whatever, gem mint. And that's how you, A, validate the card's condition, and B, preserve the card. And then sort of like, that's really how you develop an understanding of truly like the best cards are in mint condition, right? And they're like certified by a grading company, right? So if you have a Michael Jordan PSA 10, PSA is the primary certifier. Michael Jordan PSA 10 rookie card is worth probably 150, 160 grand.
Wow.
So, I mean, they're up there. So here's a Jalen Williams autograph card. That's probably a pretty solid one. LeBron. So yeah, it's a super fun hobby, and there's all kinds of different ways to like, be involved in it, right? Like you can collect the cards you want. You can try to flip cards for money. You can, just do whatever you want. And I think for most people that listen to the podcast know, like, I literally have what I would venture to guess is the top Jonathan Kuminga collection in the entire world. So for me, he's just the guy that I thought was interesting. And so I just started collecting him kind of from day one. So other people collect, older players. The biggest thing for me is like younger players have a lot more risk, but they have a lot more upside. Like you buy a Michael Jordan rookie for $150,000. I mean, that market's pretty set. Like, I don't think that card's going to increase in value unless something unforeseen happens. Versus, you get a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, if he becomes a great player, right? Odds are against him becoming like an all-time great player, right? But if he does, then pays off. If he doesn't, I mean, it's not like you got to be Michael Jordan for your cards to be worth money. So, and the same thing goes football, basketball, wrestling cards are popular, dude. Like they make all kinds of different stuff, Magic and Pokemon and all that stuff that I don't understand, but it's pretty fascinating. So.
No, I'm looking forward to it, Sleep. I'm going to continue to do some rips with you. And I'm going to get this Tar Heel collection going. Probably we'll get a nice little collection going of these Tar Heels.
I got a few here. Last dumb question. So you got all these regular sort of matted silver prism cards, and then the ones that have sort of hologrammy looking around.
Yep.
Does that just give them a little bit more value because they're shimmery? Like how?
Yeah. Like, so essentially those are the ones that are shorter. So all of it is about scarcity. Your whole collecting thing, any collectible in the world, anywhere, is about scarcity. Like how easy is it to find one of these things? The more scarce, the higher the value, right? And then the more sought after, obviously, like, people want LeBron James. They don't give a shit. I already forgot what that guy's name was in the first card I pulled, right? Okay. Nobody really cares. It's a speculative market as it pertains to like rookie cards and stuff. Like rookie cards are always the crown jewel, right? Because by nature, there's only one of those that will ever happen for a player. He's a rookie one time. Yep. They don't make like, even if they do make like all-star cards or, whatever, they're just not the same. So you want scarcity and you want like likability. And there's an interesting part about players and their collectability and their value is it's not always the best player, right? Like Kevin Durant's cards they're not nothing, but they're not nearly what LeBron James's cards are. They're not nearly what Steph Curry's cards are. Damian Lillard, not nearly what those guys are. People don't like big men either. Only until Jokic just won a championship did his cards really start getting any kind of substantial value comparative to the other people that are as good as he is. Yeah. And it's just people don't, Ja Morant's cards have long been very, very expensive. Luka Doncic is probably, other than maybe Steph and LeBron, his stuff's more expensive. He said one of his rookie cards sold for like $5 million. So, and he hadn't won anything, at all. He's 24 years old, but, there's a huge amount of speculation that goes in behind it. So that's part of the allure, right? Is like, can you find the next big guy, right? Yeah. Do you get a Luka Doncic rookie, or do you get a Jonathan Kuminga, or do you get a Banchero, and is that the next $5 million card? And the allure of opening cards is they create the scarcity within these sets, right? That gold card, there's only 10 of those. They make one set of gold cards. They make 10 sets of it. Nobody has any idea how much these regular cards are, right? How many sets they make of those. So there's only 10 sets. And like I just got one of whatever that guy's name is. There's only 9 left. And then they make cards numbered 1 of 1, and those are the ones that like last year's Cade Cunningham was the number 1 pick in the draft the year before, not the one that just happened or last year, but the year before, and his black prism, which is 1 of 1, I want to say did like $100,000. I mean, you're betting $100,000 on a guy that just missed half the season, right? I mean, dude, I think Cade Cunningham's great, but I ain't gonna put $100,000 on him.
He hasn't been what people really kind of hyped him up to be as of now either. To be honest with you,
and so that's where a lot of it happens. Like now, your guys are Chet Holmgren, they're Banchero. Wemby is gonna be absolutely bonkers. Like he's gonna set the bar for how ridiculous these cards can go. So that's gonna be an expensive time to get in the hobby of basketball. Football cards is interesting. Football's all about quarterbacks. You don't get a quarterback, you forget it. It ain't worth anything.
We're going to be chasing that Wemby card, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
SHWW is on it.
We're going to hit it, guys. So anyway, there's your discourse in card rips. We're at an hour at this point. That's how it goes, right? You can get down a wormhole. Probably the most boring podcast for 99% of the people who listen to this shit I've ever had. I don't really want to talk about free agency or the draft anymore, but we can.
I just want to cover the Tar Heels and the free agency because I did a little recon on it. And if you guys are still tuned in, if you're awake, I just want to update you guys on a couple Tar Heels that are free agents that are expecting to be involved. You hear a lot of rumors about them, but the two in particular are Cam Johnson and Harrison Barnes. Cam Johnson is a restricted free agent, which means that any team that offers him a contract, Brooklyn gets a chance to match that. And the reason why that's important is because if Brooklyn really wants him, then they can have him. And I think Brooklyn's a great place to play. I think Cam's done an unbelievable job. And also, for where he went in the draft, he has really been arguably one of the best Tar Heels in the NBA, and he's having a very good career, and he's set himself up to get a huge contract. So Brian Windhorst, who is my favorite reporter for ESPN, is predicting that Cam Johnson will get in the ballpark of 90 to $100 million contract. And I'm super happy for him. He's deserved it. And some of the teams that are rumored to be interested in Cam are Houston, Detroit, Brooklyn, the team, obviously, and the Suns. Now, remember that Cam was part of the trade from Phoenix to Brooklyn in the Kevin Durant deal, which was a big reason why Brooklyn parted ways with KD. Also, KD wanted to kind of get out of there and be on a contender, but Cam going to Brooklyn was a great trade for Brooklyn because he gives them a young player and a player that they can have over years. So pay attention to him. He's averaged 15.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2 assists a game. He's having a great career. It looks like he's going to get a very good contract, which he's earned. And also the other interesting Tar Heel in free agency. Now, this guy is an unrestricted free agent, which means he can go to any team he wants to go to, and kind of create his own terms based upon the CBA, collective bargaining agreement. But Harrison Barnes had a very good year for Sacramento, averaged 15 points, 4.5 rebounds, and he is kind of a veteran forward. Now, he plays forward in the NBA because the NBA has gone more towards small ball, and they like to have an extra wing. So if you guys watch him a lot at Carolina, he is playing the forward position, positionless basketball in the NBA. And Sacramento had a great year and surpassed a lot of people's expectations, and they have kind of put themselves in a place where they're like one or two key players away from being a contender. They really feel that way. They took Golden State into 7-game series. They had a great record all year, but there's rumors that Sacramento might part ways with Harrison. They're talking to players like, now you got to keep in mind, Draymond Green is an unrestricted free agent. And then Chris Middleton. Those are two names that a lot of people have kind of associated Sacramento with. So you could see some movement there. But I think Harrison, for me, I think he is, for all these rumors, I think he's a very undervalued piece on a team. And I think he's going to help any team he goes to. I would personally like to see him go to a contender because I think he could have that type of impact. As a veteran player who can knock down, guard multiple positions, very versatile NBA player. Personally, I think he would be good for the Lakers. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Austin Reeves, but I think he's a valuable piece there. I also think, going back to Dallas, that could be interesting, especially what Dallas decides to do with Kyrie and where he goes, and Miami. I think that would be an interesting place for him to land as well. Miami needs pieces. And I know Jimmy Butler and Harrison are a little similar in their position, but Miami needs a lot of talent. Listen, they had a lot of players that were undrafted, and I think they are a team that is also one or two pieces away from really being a contender. And I know that Miami got to the finals, but listen, they got mollywopped when they went against Denver. So those are two Tar Heels to keep keep track of. And as free agency tips off, Friday night at 6 p.m. is when these guys can officially commit. They cannot sign for, I think, a couple weeks, but officially they can commit to a team and to the terms and then sign the contract later on in free agency, which I think is about 2 weeks from when free agency kicks off Friday night at 6 p.m. So this is going to be interesting. Just also, Sleep, I know you're going to mention this, is the key free agents in this year's NBA free agency is obviously James Harden, what they want to do with him in Philly. Is it a piece they want to keep around? Now, remember, they have an emerging star in Tyrese Maxey, who's been an unbelievably young player. I think he needs more minutes, and I think he's going to be a very valuable piece. And also, they have the MVP in Embiid, which they're going to be a contender. But also, Bruce Brown's a free agent from Denver, who is a big part of their championship run. Draymond Green, is going to be interesting to see if the Warriors stick with Draymond or they want to get rid of this dynasty to see where he goes. That is something I'm really paying attention to. And also Jerry Grant from Portland. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Portland. Also, whether Lillard wants to stay in Portland is a huge deal because if he wants out, and it looks like they had a meeting the other day, and it looks like Lillard's taking the approach of I'm just going to wait and see what happens. They just drafted Scoot Henderson, which is a lot of hype around him, and a lot of people think he's going to be an emerging star in the NBA. But personally, I would like to see Lillard get out of Portland and go to a contender because I think he's going to make that big of a change. So that's what's going on in NBA free agency. I'm actually really excited to watch free agency kick off. And you guys know the NBA is constant drama. Something's going to happen, something unpredictable. Some players going to get upset. So I'm expecting some big moves.
Kennedy Chandler, second round pick number 38. Not a guy that like you really want to hit there.
Jokic, second rounder.
Yeah, this guy's 6 foot 170. So point guard out of Tennessee. So hey, Ja Morant ain't gonna be playing for 25 games. So there's your speculative move, right? So like move is hold this guy and hope he just pops off for a few games. No pun intended. While Ja's riding the pine over there. So free agency, you're right. I think Cam is a huge asset for somebody. Draymond's out there. James Harden, Kyrie are out there. A lot of guys probably going to be in new places next year. Really going to tilt the landscape a lot. There's a lot of good rookies. And there's a lot of aging veterans, man. LeBron and Curry in that trio, and a lot of these guys at the league. Dude, Giannis has been in the league 10 years now. It's hard to believe, but he's not in any way, shape, or form aging. But what I mean is there's a lot of guys that are. So there's a lot of new stars on the come up, and free agency is always fun because it's everything's speculative until it happens, and then it changes a lot of things for a lot of teams. So I'll just be staying tuned to see who lands where, but. I'm going to go list these cards on eBay. That's the other hidden secret, man. The faster you can get them some bitches on eBay, the faster they'll you can recoup what you lost when you hit a damn Kennedy Chandler, dude. You got to be kidding me. I don't know. You guys don't even understand how excited I was. I thought it was going to be it. But anyway.
You'll have another chance.
Yeah, we're going to start ripping cards on every episode. You got anything else, Big Hawk?
Stay safe.
Stay safe.